Collecting Star Wars figures is not just a hobby, it's an art form, because what we choose to collect is what we get to display, whether that's specific things like droids or aliens from Jabba's palace, or if you're a pod race fan, maybe you just display your favorite figures, or you like having Rebel pilots and have been collecting them, like I certainly know I have been. Well, one of the most popular things to display is the Star Wars Cantina. Why the Cantina has been embraced by pop culture is, well, been answered by many YouTube videos, in fact, several on this channel. These were amazing figures by Kenner in the day, and they really inspired our imaginations. So when Hasbro/Kenner announced a new line of Star Wars in '95, well, we were all excited to add more Cantina Aliens. Well, granted, the line started off with Cantina Aliens we already had, but we quickly got new ones, like Dr. Evazan there, and remakes of figures we'd already had, like Hammerhead. In fact, Cantina Aliens became a staple throughout the entire modern Star Wars line. We've even had some attempts at playsets. Sort of. We've had a cardboard version that came with a unique stormtrooper, and then we had some kind of display issues with some of the bar sections that came with stools, because there are no stools in the Cantina, but that's not important right now. What we have been able to collect are figures. And by figures, I mean aliens. Yeah, you've got the bartender and there's a spaceman in there, but for the most part, you're getting aliens. And a lot of these aliens get redone. I mean, we've seen Greedo done over and over again, even having his blast mark redone over and over again. Ugh, that last one's bloody. All right, so since Cantina Aliens are so important to Star Wars, there are so many of them, and they've populated the line through every possible packaging change and brand reimagining possible. Why are we not getting any anymore? I mean, the last time we got one was Mosep in 2015, when the Black Series was a 3 3/4 line. I mean, that's a long time to go without another Cantina Alien. Although, part of it is because we're kind of running out of Cantina Aliens, believe it or not. And that's why I wanted to do this video, is to sort of say, who's left to be made? I mean, there's a lot of sites that have shown every character in the Cantina, but which ones are we still waiting for in toy form, so we can completely fill out our diorama? Well, I've noted in a few past videos how the Cantina is actually populated by more humans than anything else, as you can see from this wide shot. The only aliens that were available were the few masks made while they were on location in Tunisia, and you saw most of these characters in clear shots walking around Mos Eisley. Later inset shots were all done post, using masks made in England that were able to basically help George Lucas see his vision and have more alien-looking aliens. This was all done after in pickup shots. Even Greedo was redone in a pickup shot. The original version of him that was on set in Tunisia just wasn't working. In fact, Greedo was originally actually just called a Martian, and there was a whole bunch of them in the Cantina. But you may not realize that. In fact, there are 3, if you will, Greedos, or Rhodians, or what are called on set, Martians, in the Cantina. This one that has that really great shot is not Greedo. This is Greedo. He's the one who crosses over the bar and holds up Han. This is also not Greedo sitting at the bar. All right, now a lot of these images came from Cantina Customs, a fantastic website. I highly recommend them for Cantina information, so please check them out. But let's take a walk through and see who's left to be made that's never gotten a toy. Let's start with the humans. Let's start with the obvious ones, the Tonica sisters. I've done videos on this. Many people have done videos on this. They can't be made as figures, despite the fact that fans overwhelmingly want them. You can see this video. I'll link it at the end, but it basically came down to the actress asking for royalties for her figure, and instead Lucasfilm saying, how about we just never make a figure of you? All right, then we have some more prominent humans like Yerka Mig, who just happens to get a good clear shot. And then Garuf LeFaux, he's important because not only, again, does he have a clear shot with his interesting-looking mining hat, but he's the one who rats out our heroes and goes to the stormtrooper and says that, you better take a look in there. I think there's some hubbub going on. We got Deboli, and Rykard Rajad, really, again, only because you clearly see them, and Rajad here had a shot in the holiday special. Now, girls in the Cantina obviously stand out. There's not many of them. Swilla Corey is seen. And while we could get a 4-pack of, female Cantina patrons, I don't know if people would really recognize them as thus on shelf. One of the most infamous is, of course, Jenny, Han's girlfriend, who is in the movie. While the kiss between them was cut, you can see her walking away from Han when Obi-Wan and Luke come and sit down with him. It's her in the background. Now we get into the background humans, that the chance of these guys getting a figure, but what I want to emphasize is just how many of them there are compared to the aliens. Yeah, the aliens are more colorful, but they were all done after the fact as post-production insert shots. The humans that were actually on set are extremely numerous, extremely bland, but they're still pretty important having a full cantina. A cantina that's just aliens, honestly, is not representing the accurate cantina that was filmed. I mean, heck, there's even this guy who's only seen from the back, talking to another random guy. Yeah, this goes on and on. There's just a ton of weird humans. All right, now we get into the spacemen. So these are humans who are wearing spacesuits, usually stolen from previous sci-fi movies like Planet of the Apes. Now, we did get one spaceman, Bo Sheck, as a figure. He's more important because he's the one who connects Chewbacca with Obi-Wan Kenobi at the bar there. But there's quite a few spacemen scattered throughout in different colored suits with different types of helmets, equipment. Again, these are almost all spacesuits that are repurposed from older 1970s, 60s, and even 50s movies. In the Docking Bay 95 scene with Jabba, which originally was shot with an actor and then replaced with a CGI Jabba in the special edition, well, all of those kind of bounty hunters and ruffians that he has with him, including several Rhodians, which were also the additional Rhodians slash Martians in the Cantina shot, well, these thugs, if you will, since they were on set and they looked gruffy, they were also present in the cantina. Granted, they're in the extreme background, but you could see both the scruffy bearded guy, Davelin Shmee. Is that like Shmee? Like, is he named after like Peter Pan, Captain Hook, Barry's book? All right, and then we have Bolio. Okay, sure, why not? So again, you can see him because of that tall cap in the background. All right. So now let's talk about the aliens. We've gotten through all the humans, and obviously the aliens are the popular ones. The toys sell great because kids love aliens and monsters, friendly, spooky, awesome. So are there any that haven't been done? Well, interestingly, the ones that were actually on set tend to be the ones that haven't had toys made because they were kind of shoved to the background since Lucas wasn't really happy with how alien the aliens looked. All of the ones that are prominent are the ones with the inset shots. So if an alien was on set, he tended to get moved to the very back of the cantina. One of the post-insert shot figures that we have not gotten is Banis Keg, the other Duros. We got one of the Duroses, in fact, as a fan-requested figure. But if you can count, like I know I can, there are 2 Duroses in the movie. And the second one we've only gotten in other toy lines. We've never gotten it in 3 3/4. So to complete our Cantina Alien set, this is probably the most prominent alien we've never gotten as an action figure. All right, after that, as far as the post-aliens, we have a character who's sort of been nicknamed Fu Manchu, although when you kind of get close-ups, you realize he's not wearing a mask. That's actually his skin. Yeah. So yeah, he's behind some of the other post-shot, like Brainiac and Bomfinden. There he is in the back with that hood. We've never gotten a toy of this guy. He's not exactly the most colorful. Probably why. I mean, it tends to be the more colorful aliens. Now this guy, who looks like he should be a modal node, is not. So this is Liren Ka'arn, whose name was given to one of the recent figures released by Hasbro. Now, the modal nodes, we all know, are the group of musicians, excuse me. Maybe they're magicians, too. Which is why they keep changing from 5 to 6 to 7. How many are there? Most sets put out have 5 as far as consumer product, but accurate to the movie, there are 7. Now, 2 of them we really have almost never gotten. The drummer has only been issued first with both a 6-inch and 3 3/4 set that came out in 2023. But this set, which had all 7, while it included the first ever drummer for the modal nodes, we have not gotten the 7th player. The name of the figure was given from the guy sitting in the bar. The instrument should be that stand-up bass we see on the left there. That is the final instrument, and it's never been produced. It's being played by band number 6 behind 5 and 4. So, yeah, we're still missing a Cantina band member and that other guy who's, I guess, their manager? All right. Now, let's go back to the characters that were actually on set during the original shoot versus the inset. The Cantina band members obviously were an inset shot as well. So, the characters that were aliens in Tunisia, mostly in Mos Eisley. There is a Jawa in the Cantina. I guess you could probably just take any Jawa and throw them in there. Now we get 3 Rhodians. So again, Niche is not Greedo. He's the one prominently seen in an inset shot. And then Thuka kind of gets cut out. He was in an inset shot in the first cut before the post shot. Salama, one of what are called the Colonels, or I don't know, I tend to think of them as sort of wombat-y looking. I love these guys. These are fantastic looking characters. They've never had toys. There's several shots of them in Mos Eisley. They are in the Cantina, but they're, again, hidden in the back. This guy, important, one of the same species as Mosep, but not Mosep, and especially important because this was the specific alien that Marvel used to represent Jabba the Hutt in the original Star Wars comic book adaptation. It wasn't Mosep, it was this guy, the one who actually has the face whiskers, if you will. The other werewolf-type character, I think this was known as Hyena Man as opposed to Wolf Man, is Arliel Sachos, who was cut in the special edition. Then we get the Fly guy. Again, he's just sort of in the background against the wall. The aliens were sort of hidden because Lucas didn't like the way they looked, like Rigo-esque, the giant rodent. Finally, the last one is from the special edition, one of those figures that actually replaced the previous Hyena Man, and that is Melis. Now, while there's never been a figure of Melis or Melis, you can actually make one pretty easily because the same alien mask was used for 2 different characters in the special edition. So if you have a Ketwall figure from Power of the Jedi, simply spin his head around and put a piece of red cloth over him, and boom, now you have Melis. So you can easily make a custom of him, sort of, kind of. So that's it. That is all that's left. They've made almost every possible alien from the Cantina. The humans, not so much. But, like I've noted, humans don't exactly sell well to kids, generic people. It's just not something that kids see as aspirational. But for collectors, man, I'd love to see this. This would be like a great HasLab set, like 20 humans from the Cantina. Just get them all at once. But they could just tool up like, 3 bodies and make all sorts of characters between vest swaps and heads and jackets. So it wouldn't be that expensive to tool. It would be cool, and it would at least help the Cantina look more accurate than the current toy display, which is almost entirely just aliens. But, it makes Luke and Obi-Wan stand out. Why not? Cantina will live on. I just like to see more characters. Well, there's really not that many left to do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and it was a good look of what remains from one of the most popular scenes in Star Wars to be turned into toy form. Would you like to see some of those humans, or is it just me? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, thanks for sharing, and I'll see you in the next video.